I get asked all the time, Mouthpiece, why a biker church? Well, I'm going to give you 6 things today that I've learned as a Christian from the biker community. So we're going to combine them together. Roll with me. All right, number 1, bikers love what we do. Find a biker who doesn't love talking about riding or they're talking about their bike or the joy that we get from hitting a really good twisty road with our buddies. You don't ever hear bikers complain about having to go on a ride. On the flip side, you do hear bikers complain about having to put their bikes away for the season and having to hang up their leathers for the season. That's a sadness that we take on that it just can't be described. But anyways, there's no whining, there's no complaining. It's just loving what we do. And at the end of the day, when we come back, we wish that we could have had more time to do what we were doing, and we start planning our next ride. When you hear a biker say, you know, I woke up this morning and I just didn't feel like riding today. You grab a hold of him, you throw him in your cage, and you take him to the nearest emergency room so he can get his head checked out. Now, let's talk about the church on the flip side of that. The church, is there whining? You betcha. You betcha there is. Is there complaining? You can probably go to the bank with that too. Missing church? There are a bajillion different reasons why people miss church. There's so many other things that are just more important than getting up on a Sunday morning, coming to the house of God and worshiping. There's so many more things that are important. And when people do come to church, there's not a lot of joy. There's not a lot of excitement. They're just kind of, the only joy that they do tend to have is when it's over and they get to not have to worry about it again for a whole nother week. But like bikers, we Christians, we should love what we do. Sometimes that walk doesn't line up with the talk when we say that we love Jesus. Okay, second thing that we can learn from the biker community is bikers are diverse. You have white collar, you have blue collar, let's face it, sometimes there's dog collar, but bikers come in all shapes and sizes and we like to ride together. Out on the road, I've met guys that work in factories, I've met farmers, I've met people that are retired, I met a judge once, I ride with mechanics, and yeah, sometimes I even come across other pastors that are out there. But our backgrounds don't matter. There's this brotherhood, there's this sisterhood that's formed by our common love of bikes and the open road. What we do the rest of the week doesn't really matter. But when we fire up our bikes, what matters is that we're all out getting our knees in the wind together. When we strap on our brain bucket, it's time to ride. All that other junk just doesn't matter. You know, but what about the church? What about the church? Martin Luther King Jr. said it best when he said Sunday morning at 11 a.m. is the most segregated time of the week. And today, I agree with that. I think today, that's just as important today as it was back then. It's just as true. Today, segregation still happens. You know, some churches, it's all about race. And for others, it's about politics and traditions and how much money you have and where you work and where you live. None of that really should matter, right? Churches for decades have tried to crank out cookie-cutter Christians, and it doesn't work. I honestly don't think that the 12 guys that Jesus picked to be his disciples looked alike or talked alike or sounded alike. Even after Jesus was done with them, I don't think that they were all alike, were they? I love when I see a congregation, when I see a group of people gathered together as a body of believers that are completely diverse. Old, young, black, white, tall, short, fat, bald, skinny, you name it. I love seeing that. But unfortunately, that's rare. Unfortunately, it's rare. Conformity tends to rule. People want to stick to their own, I guess, whatever brand of Kool-Aid that people are drinking, they want to stick to that. But bikers on the other hand, they don't really care. Just like bikers, Christians, we should be a diverse group. All right, how about number three? Number three, contrary to popular belief, bikers are friendly. Bikers who don't even know each other. They've never met. They met, maybe they meet at a gas pump. We talk to each other. We always, even if it's small talk, we talk to each other. Bikers talk to each other. At rides, at restaurants, out on the road, out on the side of the road, we talk to each other, guys. If a biker's having trouble, you see somebody that's broken down on the side of the road, we do more than just stop and be like, oh, I hope Jesus fixes your flat. No, we do more than talk. We actually help. The biker community is there. There's no biker left behind. There's a code in this. There's a code in this. Maybe Christians should have a code. No Christian left behind. Anyways, but there's a lot of people that act like they're afraid of bikers, and I don't understand why. We're friendly. They're some of the friendliest people I've ever met. Just keep them on your good side. They very much believe like Jesus did. We love everybody, but whipping people and flipping tables maybe also be in the realm of possibilities. But you guys ever notice how bikers, we acknowledge each other when we're out on the road? Usually it's 2 fingers down, which mainly is meaning, keep the rubber side down, because let's face it, rubber side up is a bad deal for everybody. Now, I know churches say that they're friendly, and they are friendly. If you talk like they do, and you act like they do, and you believe like they do, and basically if you drink their flavor of Kool-Aid, they're super friendly with you. They're friendly with you as long as maybe you don't sit in their seat, or if you try to change something in the church, or you come with a suggestion of maybe how something could be done better, lock the doors, push them outside, lock the doors. Friendliness stops at that point. We can't have that. Don't try to change the stuff. Bikers are friendly because we don't focus on surface things. We're not focusing on surface things. We focus on what matters most to us. And that's the quality of the person that we're talking to. We don't need to know your name. A lot of us don't even have real names anymore. We don't need to know your name. We need to know your character. We need to know that you're a legit and good person. It's that unconditional friendliness that's the lesson I think that the church needs to learn. All right, how about this one? Number 4, bikers are loyal to each other. We have each other's backs. We stand up, we support bikers and other bikers. Even among the top echelon of the motorcycle community, the 1% clubs, they're loyal to the brothers in their club. If somebody gets hurt, or they can't work, or something else happens, forget Aflac. What they do is they hold a rally, they hold a poker run, or simply they just pass around a helmet and they help that person who's hurt, they help their family. Bikers, they stand with each other through good times, through bad times. They even go out and help other people. Bikers are probably the most generous group of people that I've ever met. Think about it. There's rides for everything. There's March of Dimes, there's St. Jude's, there's toy runs, there's memorial rides, and the list just goes on and on and on and on. Bikers will actually go out and pay good money to do something that they could do for free, just to help a charity, just to help a person. And the church's track record on loyalty, where's that? Well, as long as everybody behaves themselves, and as long as everybody does what they're told, and yeah, maybe the church is loyal. But when somebody falls, when somebody slips, when somebody backslides, when somebody sins, Whoa, when somebody sins, when they're hurting, when they're struggling, many churches either kick them out, kick them to the side, or even worse, they ignore them completely. Speaking as somebody that has been hurt by a lot of churches before, I didn't see a lot of loyalty there. I didn't see a lot of loyalty. Honestly, I didn't really expect it because I looked at their track record and I looked at how they were with other people, and that had already been established that that's kind of how things rolled. I wasn't expecting it. And that's not good. That's not how people should view the church. We should have a strong sense of unity and loyalty in the Christian body, even if it's not just with our church. The Christian church should have unity and loyalty to each other. All right, number five. Bikers don't really worry about what other people think. We accept that some people, they're never going to accept us because, well, we're different. You know, let's face it, we're different. We look different and we act different and we talk different. And I mean, I'm a pastor. I don't look like the average pastor. Truthfully, when I've got my cut on and I'm out on my bike and I'm revving my engine, I'm out riding with my friends, I'm all tatted up, my tattoos are all hanging out. I can see how good, honest, church-going people might think less of me because I don't fit their mold, and that's okay. I'm absolutely fine with that. I've been out riding with my friends, and all of us, big beards and full leathers, and we stop at a diner or a restaurant for lunch or something, and as we walk in, people give us the hairy eyeball, and it's never in a good way. And you know what? That's fine. That's absolutely fine. I'm okay with that. I'm not out trying to win the approval of other people. There's only one whose approval I think I need. Bikers, see, the thing is bikers don't care about external stuff. Maybe except for our bikes. We care about that. But anyways, we don't care about the external stuff. We're comfortable in our own skin. We don't need validation through what other people think that we are or we aren't. What about the church? Nearly, if not everything in the westernized American church is about the external. It's about the outward appearance. The emphasis is on the external. That's the exact thing that peeved Jesus about the Pharisees. Being a Christian becomes more about what you don't do than what you do. It becomes more about how you look than how you act. It becomes more about how it is on the outside than what that change that's deep on the inside. More about following the rules than kingdom living. When it's all about appearances, we lack substance in kingdom life. Bikers teach us not to worry about appearances and what other people think. Bikers teach us that we Christians, we should worry about what's on the inside and what Jesus thinks. Okay, the number 6 thing, the last thing that I think that we could learn from bikers as the church it's a big one. We know the risk and we ride anyway. We realize that being a biker isn't for everybody, and as much as I would love to see everybody on twos, we know that being a biker isn't for everybody. It's risky. And there's an inherent risk. Every time that we strap on a helmet and we get on twos and we go out, there's an inherent risk. There's a danger of us being out there. I mean, let's face it. We're strapping a rocket between our legs and we're heading out. There's danger every time we go out on the road. And, if we think about some of the stuff that's out in the world that's a danger to us, we got, not only people in cages doing their texting while they're driving, Get off your phones, by the way. That's dangerous. We take that risk. But road conditions and weather conditions and all that stuff, there's obvious dangers that are out there, but we go out and we ride anyway, right? Because the ride outweighs the risk. Do I pray before I go out and I ride? Absolutely. I absolutely do. You better believe every time I get on my bike, I pray before I mount up. Because, I respect my bike. We respect our machines. We respect our bikes, but we don't allow the fear of what could happen keep us from riding. When fear overrides the joy of riding, sell your bike, buy a convertible, be that guy. I got to tell you, the biggest problem that we see in the 21st century Christian Americanized church is the unwillingness to take risks for Jesus. There is an unwillingness to take risks for the kingdom of God. People want to play it safe. They want to know what the outcome is going to be before they go out. They want to know that the outcome is worth it, and what that means to them is, are they going to get new people in the seats of their church? Because it's about nickels and noses in the American church now. You can't, if you can't get new members, then it's not worth the risk and they don't go. The devil knows that he can't defeat the kingdom of God. He's already tried and he's already failed. And if you guys remember the empty tomb, we can talk about that. But instead of attacking the kingdom, what he does is he fills the local churches with people that make God's people become ineffective from God's work. He distracts us. He distracts God's people from doing God's work. He makes us ineffective for the kingdom of God. And by doing that, he wins. He puts people there that are unwilling to take the risk for Jesus. People risk eternity for the sake of time all the time. Shouldn't we be willing to risk time for the sake of eternity? So when people ask me, Mouthpiece, why a biker church? Because I've surrounded myself with bikers. I've shown you why. I've surrounded myself with Christians because I believe the Christians that I've surrounded myself with line up with the bikers. I've given myself the best of both worlds. Bikers and Christians. It's the people that get it. Be blessed.